Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about how Republicans are dealing with the news from the midterms. They did not achieve their desired or predicted or expected results, and they are coming up with coping mechanisms to try to make themselves feel better. There are a lot of Republicans who are pointing to the fact that they believe that it's still possible that the Republican Party gains control of the House or maybe even the Senate, and that they should be happy with this. And that if that occurs, then it's full speed ahead for Trumpism. No, y'all got that wrong. So Trump as a political figure, he's a liability. Those Republicans who get elected in the House, they are not going to be as obedient as the former lackeys that were in the House of Representatives, because they know hitching themselves to Trump is get in, loser, we're going losing. Doesn't really seem like an enticing proposition. It's going to be much easier for the Democratic Party to get Republicans to cross the aisle now, and this is true in any situation. Trump is no longer a leading political figure. Shouldn't be. Sure, that base is there, but that base can't win. And that's been demonstrated pretty clearly. See, those expectations, those predictions, the Republican Party is going to flip 20 or 30 seats. They're going to have control of everything because that's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. Had the Republican Party behaved like normal conservatives, that's what would have occurred. But it didn't. It brought in people that wanted to undermine democracy. It ran people who actively wanted to strip away the rights of their fellow Americans. It ran authoritarian goons linked to Trump. And it lost. Yeah. That means that those who made it, they realized that that Trump endorsement isn't nearly as valuable as they thought it was. They're not going to obey him. And he is going to go all out at anybody who questions him. The Republican Party had its chance. They could have held Trump accountable. They blew it. And now they have backed themselves into a corner where they can't condemn him for the things that could have separated him from the party and made him politically irrelevant within the Republican Party. But they know that he's political dead weight. It's a situation of their own making. They should have had a red wave. It should have occurred. With the economic instability, with just the historical precedent of, the party that isn't in power gaining seats. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Biden isn't incredibly popular. But the Republican Party failed to capitalize on it because they went all in on MAGA, which has led them to nothing but loss. As soon as people actually saw what it meant, they haven't won since. But the Republican Party is too busy obeying the tweeter-in-chief. They're coping now and saying that, well, what little control they got, it's going to matter. I don't think so. Republicans will cross because they want to get reelected. Every first-term representative wants the same thing, a second term. And they're not going to get one obeying Trump. And they're not going to get one when the Republican Party moves from Trump to mini-Trump and finds a replacement with the same rhetoric that appeals to that same base, that uses that same authoritarian attitude, that has that same style of, quote, leadership. the presumptive nominee going to lead to the exact same thing. But I don't think that's going to change anything. They're still going to go down that road because they haven't learned their lesson yet. I am not terribly worried about the shifts that might occur, because even if the Republican Party does gain control, they're not going to be the MAGA crowd. They're not going to be the fascist-adjacent crowd. And the younger ones, the smarter ones, they're going to start distancing themselves from that rhetoric. And it will be painful for the Republican Party, but it's the only way they're ever going to win again. It might have been helpful to say that something was wrong at the time. It might have been helpful to say, no, you definitely need to take action and protect yourself, when certain political figures were downplaying things. I would step away from the extreme rhetoric if I was a Republican. Trump is a liability. And those who would mimic Trump, they're just going to be a liability without the benefit of being Trump. It's what's coming if the Republican Party doesn't recognize the situation it's in. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.